Thanks for joining us. This is Community Newspapers Live. I'm Michael Miller with Community Newspapers, and today we're with David Singer, Councilman in Palmetto Bay. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me back.
And I understand there's some interesting things happening in the village of Palmetto Bay. Tell us about it.
Yeah, let me get you a little caught up since the last time I was here. Monday night, past Monday, they had a zoning meeting, which I unfortunately was not present, where they were voting on the DUV, which is the downtown urban village. It runs between Franjo, US 1, and 184th. It's kind of a triangle area, where they voted on a comprehensive plan and a zoning rules for that area. But let me give you a little back history first. About 6 years ago, prior council voted the old DUV code, or actually, I guess it's still the present DUV code, for 5,900 apartment units.
That's 5,900.
Yes, 5,900. I was so upset that they passed that legislation that was one of the reasons that I ran for office. We have 7,500 homes, I believe, in Palmetto Bay, single-family homes, and that 5,900 apartments come really close to matching 7,500, 8,000 homes. So I ran, and as soon as I got in, I sat there and brought forth a moratorium to stop using that code and stop giving out building permits until we could revisit the fact that we had 5,900 apartments, and the prior council voted, I believe, 5-0. So we basically have been working since I was elected on trying to come forth with a new zoning code and comprehensive plan that's a little bit more realistic for that area. So Monday night it came up finally after a year, 2 years of work, and not only did the present council vote 4-0 to reduce it, but they actually voted 4-0 to increase it by 30%.
So how do you reduce it and then increase it at the same time?
So they didn't reduce it. So let me see. I'm old. I need notes. So let me tell you. So you have a comprehensive plan and you have a zoning code. I'll give you an analogy. A comprehensive plan is like a piece of pizza, or a whole pie of pizza, and it gives you the total amount of slices or apartments that are allowed in that area, and that area would be the DUV. Each individual piece of that pizza is like a different zoning code for different areas of the DUV. So what they basically did was they increased the slices in that pizza from 5,900 apartments to 7,500 apartments.
Can we take a break here? Steve's Pizza, where are you, man?
Good advertising. So what they basically did was increase the amount of apartments in that pizza by 30%, 1,500, 1,600 units. So everything I had brought forward and tried to do in reducing the amount of apartments in the DUV, when I wasn't there, they actually flipped and made even worse by adding as many apartments in that area as we have single-family homes, if not more.
And so is this done by making them taller buildings or spreading them out?
It's basically by going block by block and saying how many individual apartments you can have in each area, each folio number. So then they even made they made a really major mistake, okay? Because they took that pizza and they said, okay, we're going to allow you 7,900 apartments, but they took the comprehensive plan and they said, but you can only build 2,500.
Aren't those things supposed to be in concert with each other?
They're absolutely, per state law, supposed to mirror each other. Or the comprehensive plan can be a little bit more than the zoning code if you have like areas that you don't want to zone. You have like green space or something and that you'll probably zone down the road. So this is absolutely in conflict with what they were supposed to do. Number 1 is you can't give somebody the rights for a carton of cigarettes, but you then say, okay, but you only can have a pack of them.
I'm not sure if you heard yet, but the town of Cutler Bay just purchased 17 acres off of Old Cutler Road, where a new town center, including City Hall, is going to be built. And one of the positions of the city is, folks, residents, voters, this property could have had 480 apartments on it. So that's now off of that, no traffic, all right, except for the City Hall stuff. Really very insightful and very futuristic. What sort of futuristic plans are going on right now in Palmetto Bay?
Everything's pretty much at a standstill. I had done the same thing. We were supposed to have a charter school, and a lot of people didn't want the charter school because it would induce traffic. Of course, schools induce traffic. So I said, well, let's buy the couple of acres, okay, for the charter school and put a community center on it. And 50% of the residents liked that idea, 50% of the residents didn't. But the win there, okay, and I think that they must have copied me in some regard, is to take the money that you have and try to protect the residents and try to reduce the amount of traffic. So that's basically what they did. But they also stole my idea, because I heard they're building a community center on that site too. So now we have
people in South End appreciate that.
Yeah. So now basically what we have is we've protected our residents. We have the land. It's about 2 acres, and there won't be a charter school, and it reduces the traffic that residents have to deal with on a daily basis. But that's the forethinking that you have to have when you're on a council and you're trying to protect residents' interests, instead of just playing it safe and saying, okay, we'll let the developer sit there and develop 7,900 units or whatever and increase traffic. It's just what they did was just I cannot put into words what they did. I don't understand how they either made the mistake or administration made the mistake, but somebody needs to come forth and explain how the mistake was made.
So since you mentioned traffic, there were plans by a developer to put in a hospital on 77 acres, approximately, the old Florida Power and Light property, and they dropped the Luxom sued the city, then dropped that, and then filed a notification of Burt Harris Act and said, hey, listen, city, you downzoned us, and in 150 days or so, we will be able to file a lawsuit against our loss, which we've projected at
$21 million.
$21 million. What can you say publicly, because I'm sure there's some things that you can't, what can you say publicly about what's going on?
Okay, so the only thing I can say is Lexcom came to the village staff and asked them what could we do on this property before they bought it. And what the staff gave them was a determination letter. And their determination basically said that you can build, it's industrial, you can build hospitals, you can build offices, whatever the letter says. I don't have it in front of me. So after Lexcom bought the property, the village decided to downzone it to 1 per acre.
It was after they purchased it?
After they purchased it. So they had a determination letter before they purchased it telling them what they could do with it. After they got the letter, the village got together and downzoned it 1 per acre, and they have a case there. I mean, we'll see what happens in front of a judge.
And if I remember right, Luxcom went to that on the second vote and said, hey, listen, we're going to file suit against you if you change the zoning from institutional to the 1 per acre.
Oh, no, they gave everybody fair warning.
Yes.
Absolutely. No. Lexcom has, we'll see what a judge says, but Lexcom has a case there.
All right.
I don't know if it's worth $21 million, but they definitely have a case there.
Well, it should be interesting to see what winds up there. Do you think within 5 years something will have been done there?
I don't know.
We're trying to find out, folks.
I don't know. I mean, if it's in litigation, it's going to take probably
3 years. Squeeze it for an answer.
It's going to take. If it's in litigation, you know how litigation goes.
Yes.
It goes for a while. So let's get back to the zoning for 2 seconds. Let me get back. So anyway, because you right away knew that the comprehensive plan and the zoning had to equal, right?
Yes.
It makes common sense, right? So that's the law, and it's basically first grade math. Okay, 4 and 4 make 8. It doesn't make 9. It doesn't make 6. So why didn't somebody at the council stand up and say, this doesn't make sense? How can you have a comprehensive plan, okay, that doesn't match your zoning, that's so much farther lower than why didn't somebody ask that question?
So that was the first hearing, right? They took
Correct.
place on Monday. So there'd be a second one within a month?
No, I don't think it's within a month. I think what's going to happen now is there's number one is I've gotten a legal opinion that there could be Burt J. Harris acts on this lawsuit unless they reverse it, and it's a potential $100 million liability to the city or the village.
So during this next month, what are you going to do to help point out this error that you think is?
Well, I sent out mass emails. I'm hoping residents read the emails and call the council. I think what they did Monday night needs to be completely reversed and started all over again. I think that's the only way to get us out of the trouble. I think that the hole that the council dug Monday night. I don't want to see $100 million worth of lawsuits come across. First of all, it would bankrupt the village. Just couldn't handle it. But I think there was no thought to the whole process that occurred on Monday night.
Usually those things are passed by the city attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
So has he, and sometimes we've seen councils or commissions ignore what the attorney says. Sometimes they go along with it. Mm-hmm. So depending what they're trying to get done, and really leave it up to the other party to decide whether they're going to file a suit. So do you know if the city attorney gave his blessing on this?
I contacted the city attorney. The city attorney has texted me back that he warned the council that there was potential litigation, and the council did not heed his warning.
And that's his obligation to do
And
that.
that's his obligation. It's also the obligation of staff.
Right.
So I have a text message from him because I was rather upset after on Tuesday after finding out what occurred.
Years ago in West Kendall, there was a community council that was giving a ruling for some zoning issues. The on-site county attorney says you cannot do that. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. But they passed it anyway. The next morning, the county overruled it instantly. They're like the judge, if you will. And so maybe there's going to be something that's going to happen.
Oh, I'm sure the state, the comprehensive plan has to go to the state, right? So the state's going to look at it, and they're going to look at the zoning, and they're going to look at the comprehensive plan and go 2,500 versus 7,900, something's not right here, and they're going to kick it back.
So in Palmetto Bay, what are the top couple issues that you continue to hear from the residents?
Well, I would say that it's definitely traffic, and I think we did a show on traffic. And it's definitely the DUV. They've all been waiting for a new DUV. There's a lot of people that own a lot of lots in the DUV area that want to know what they can do with the lots. They want to build townhouses or some small garden apartments. And the other would be the other litigation with Lexcom. Once again, to put it in perspective, the Village of Palmetto Bay our budget's about $20 million a year. I think we get $15 million from residents. On the property taxes, so you're talking about a whole year's worth of budget that if you look at the $21 million that Lexcom has, and plus the attorney's fees that we're going to be ringing up, and there's no insurance for that litigation either. So it's everybody. We go back to. I always go back to. I got involved in politics. With the Palmer Trinity lawsuit, when I read in the Herald one day that the ex-mayor Shelley Stanzik and her council spent $1 million fighting Palmer Trinity after the third DCA said that you guys give up, you're on the wrong side, and I always say, well, that's kind of chicken feed compared to what we have now, what we set up ourselves for down the road.
And speaking of Palmer Trinity, I see in the Palmetto Bay News, we got a nice story here, which is the Palmer Trinity announces completion of their solar system installation. So congratulations to Palmer Trinity and for your guidance down there. I know $1 million in legal fees. We're familiar with that in South Miami, where the city of South Miami wound up paying about $1.25 million to the former chief of police. The courts ruled the city had to pay him for the remainder of his contract. and it was, I think, 3 years' worth that they needed to pay him. So I hope the people in Palmetto Bay
that's-
have a lot of money, all right? Because it looks like that's where this stuff is
No,
headed.
it's just crazy. I mean, it's always easy to. I always say this. It's always easy to spend somebody else's money, right? So if it was your money, okay, would you really, be gambling like what our present council apparently is gambling with the residents' money, tax dollars? It's just beyond me.
Well, I understand there's an election coming up in November.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And you're going to be running again?
I'm going to run for district seat 2.
And there's one other seat that's open, or 2 others?
There's one other. It's the vice mayor, and then an announcement will be made next week. I'm hoping that you have this individual on the show next week after he announces. I will support him as an individual. He's, like I've said before, he's very intelligent and will be a great benefit to the village.
Well,
This would never have happened on Monday night if he was on the council.
Yes. And we will get in touch with him as soon as he announces. And we're really privileged to spend some more time with you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
David,
much.
David Singer, Village Palmetto Bay Councilman. And folks, have a great day, and we'll see you soon at Community Newspapers Live. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.